As we are in the deepest, hottest part of the year, I think it's only prudent that we talk about the hottest games from BoardGameGeek. Let's do it.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy.
I'm Mike Murphy.
We are the Brothers Murph, and this is going to be the hottest games of the last 30 days or so.
All right, this is the best of BoardGameGeek. We're going to talk about some news that's happening, the hottest games, what everyone is playing, and some things that we like. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. So one big bit of BoardGameGeek news is that the Gen Con preview 2021 is upon us. Once again, this is a fantastic service that BoardGameGeek provides where they get information from publishers about what games are going to be coming out, what games are going to be available on pre-order, which games are going to be demoed at Gen Con, and you can go through a whole list that's alphabetized by publisher. So if you want to find out what Renegade Game Studios has, you can go right down to R for Renegade Game Studios and see a whole fleet of games, and again, whether or not they'll be there in demo form, available for order, pre-order, or what have you. So it's a really nice way to quickly get a view of what's going to be coming out so you can then get excited for stuff, put things on wish lists and all that jazz, and get yourself really well and organized prior to going to the convention. It's a really great thing. I love doing it, looking through it every year just to get excited about the upcoming convention. So check out the 2021 Gen Con preview right now, before Gen Con, or during Gen Con, or after Gen Con. It's fine. It's all good.
So my bit of news is about the Geek Store. We got a whole bunch of new stuff. There are some new games in the Geek Game Shop. There are some really cool apparel items from Mr. Meeple. There's some really beautiful socks, like board game socks. That's awesome. I love board game accessories like that. There's also ties, which are really, really cool. And then there's also BGG quivers now. Board gamers love their quivers. I love quivers. They're great. You can hold like 20 different card games in them. There's a big one and a small one, and they're really, really cool. And the thing I'm most excited for is the new Geek Up bits. These are actually like generic Geek Up bits. They're generic ones for like health. They have hearts. They have shields for defense. They have mind for like intellect. They have insanity. They have science, that kind of stuff. And it's a really, really cool idea. I know people who have gotten like upgraded bits and they kind of just use them in a bunch of different games. And that's what these are. But these are done in that really, really awesome, gorgeous, like translucent acrylic that BGG Geek Up bits are made from. So they're gonna be absolutely gorgeous. And you can use them in how many games have health, how many games have defense and attack and all those different kinds of things. So this is gonna be really, really useful, and I'm really pumped about these ones. So that was a little bit of news, but let's talk about the hotness. This is what everyone is here for. So let's kick down to the table. Let's go over some hotness. Need a coffee sip because it's hot coffee.
This is hot coffee, hot games. We're going to talk about the hotness this month. Now, this month has some things from before. Nick, you kind of mentioned this is sort of like the calm
it's
before
kind
the
of
convention.
Calm before the Gen Con. You know what I mean?
So there's going to be more games coming out. You're going to see certain games that pop up on this
Next
list
month's hotness will be right after Gen Con and during Origins, more or less. So like it's going to be shook up most likely a little bit. But right now it's kind of a lot of the same stuff, but that's totally fine.
Yeah, so let's jump into number 10 on the hotness.
Let's go ahead and do 10 and 9 right now.
Because you expect these to be on the list.
Because 10 is Dune, 9 is Lost Ruins of Arnak. They're on the thing every single month.
Yeah.
Because they're just perpetually hot.
And they're never gonna go away, and this is okay because they're gonna have expansions coming out real soon, especially with Lost Ruins of Arnak.
And they're both great. Like, you know, it's like we played Lost Ruins of Arnak last night. Still freaking love it.
Great game.
So yeah, it's like, you know, let's just do both these because they're on every single month.
If you haven't heard about Dune, Imperium, and Lost Ruins of Arnak, deck building, worker placement, Indiana Jones, space. Those are the differences. That's all you need to know about those games.
Both games have all 4 of those things.
Exactly. 10 and 9. Let's go ahead and get number 8.
Number 8 is
also has space.
Also has space.
And Indiana Jones.
Indeed. And this is Furnace, which is about capitalism mostly.
In the Industrial Revolution.
Industrial Revolution, basically. Yeah. But nonetheless, Furnace is a small little, we actually just got to play this, a small little deck builder. Not deck builder, sorry, a small little engine builder.
And worker placement. No, it's an auctioning engine builder.
Yes, indeed. So it's a kind of light little engine builder that are kind of very popular, kind of like a la Splendor, like these really small little engine builders. But this one, how you get the cards that become your engine is you have to auction for them. And that to me, because I have a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with really light engine builders, but that auction mechanic makes this one really fun.
Yeah, because there's these cards where if you bid on a card and you end up not getting that card, you use these auction discs, you get
a little bonus from it. Yeah,
you get.
It's called compensation.
Compensation. So there's little resources at the top, and so I love the whole like non-bid bid, where you bid on something, but you do not want to win it. I just want those resources.
I just
at
need the
top.
iron.
That's such an interesting twist.
Yeah, it's
on
really
it.
nice.
And then the higher number you play, if you don't get it, you get compensated as a multiplier. So if I play a 3 and don't get it, I get 3 of whatever's at the top.
It's really
and
cool.
So it's so interesting. And then that quick engine building.
And it's got nice little art too. It's a good little game.
It's fantastic.
So that's number 8. Let's get number 7.
So number 7 is Great Western Trail 2nd Edition, which is starting to get out there into people's hands. This is very much just Great Western Trail with kind of an aesthetic and production upgrade.
Yeah.
They changed around the art a little bit. They have now dual layer boards.
Yeah.
They kind of fixed the train route. So at the top, it doesn't change anything mechanically, but it just makes more sense. Like you're going linearly in a direction versus all around.
And there's a little variant now where you have a cow that you can get that grows over time. Every time you send them to Kansas City, you get like the next upgrade of that cow, which is cool. And there's also like a solo mode, which Mike's played, which he liked. Yeah, it's a cool. It's mostly aesthetic though, but it's cool. I like the new look. I'm still, whether I like the old board or the new board, I don't know. I definitely like the new cover better, but I'm still. But it looks good, and I love the dual layer boards. They're really nice.
The point is, people are talking about it because it's getting into people's hands. There's reviews and things going out.
I'm really excited for the next ones. Argentina, New Zealand. I'm just so curious of what they're going to be.
Yeah, now it's the beginning of a Great Western Trail series,
which I'm pretty pumped about.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah. So that's number 7 is Great Western Trail 2nd Edition.
Number 6 is just kind of around, kind of like the Lost Ruins and Dune right now, because it's hitting people's hands and people are just loving it, and that is Cascadia.
Cascadia's
talked about this for a couple months now because people are just loving this game. It's kind of in that same weight range of like a Calico where it's simple rules, but like a really kind of brain-burny puzzle. And they're just, AEG is just absolutely crushing these kinds of games right now.
Yeah, so Flatout is working with AEG to come out with Calico and Cascadia and some other games and stuff, and they're just a good team of people coming together. This one uses hexes, and you're building out land types and stuff, but it's a little more free and loose in that you don't have to like match stuff in order to play things. It's advantageous if you make like a big area of mountains or water, and then each tile can support one or more type of animal, and those animals, the little tokens, want to be placed in certain arrangements. Like
they all
hawks,
have different scoring.
Yeah, maybe a hawk doesn't want to be next to any other hawk, so every individual hawk, or maybe you want a line of moose, or you want salmon in a run, which can be in different directions, but it has to be all connected. Yeah. They all work different ways. There's multiple versions of those animals. Yeah. So there's a lot of fun puzzling.
You get a tile, that tile has an animal attached to it, you place the tile, and you place the animal somewhere where you can allow to place it. That's the game.
That's it.
That's literally the whole game. But then it's just the puzzle of like, okay, these all score differently. How do I want to do this? And it's that simple. It's like Calico. You grab a tile, you put in your quilt. That's it. And then it's just, okay, now how do I figure out the puzzle to score? Yeah. And it's like, it's just, I love this weight of game. It's become one of my favorite weights of game, this kind of little thing. I love it. Cascadia is really fun.
And that's why it's number 6. Let's get to number 5.
So number 5 is a game from IELLO that is Khôra, Rise of an Empire. I'm always interested when IELLO has something.
I know. This is a game in ancient Greece where you're kind of working in the politics and things to basically grow your city bigger and better than your opponents can grow theirs, making different decisions, how you use your armies and kind of work your dice and things like that. This is kind of like a classically themed game. This is one that I think we typically enjoy, those kinds of building up of a city.
Oh yeah, I like any game where you're building stuff generally. And it's IELLO, so the art's great. It's got a really pretty cover. The cover is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it seems cool, and I'm always at least interested in IELLO. IELLO's like, what do you got over there, IELLO? What do you got over there? It's always
gonna be a good looking product.
Yeah, it's always gonna look great, which is nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's number 5. Let's get number 4.
Number 4 is Agemonia.
You want to say Agamemnon. It's not that.
I want to say Agemonia, but neither of those are correct. Agemonia is at least close.
Yeah.
Agemonia is a fully cooperative, kind of story-driven scenario campaign type game.
A lot of these kinds of games, you know.
Oh yeah, tons. You know, it's always fun because it's cool to play something that is bigger than one single game. You know, it kind of goes on and on. So. On this one, you're kind of a group of unlikely heroes, and you're going through different scenarios.
A ragtag group of folks, you know?
And then as you get to different points in a map and stuff, and it has kind of that cool, like the storybook, where you kind of turn over a spiral-bound notebook that we saw now with Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, with a lot of Ryan Red Raven games. And as you go through different points in the map and stuff, you'll come across story moments where it sort of breaks, and you learn more about your characters, your situation, where you've come from, where you're going, things like that. Those are always fun games to explore because it's kind of like playing pretend again. You know what I mean? Like that's what we would do as kids. And so this one seems to be really cool. Looks like a nice production. It's on Kickstarter right now, so that's why it's hitting that hotness. There's Dice Tower did a playthrough recently. And so that's why it's on the list at number 4. Getting hot.
Yeah, it's getting up there. Let's get number 3. Number 3 is Descent Legends of the Dark. So this is not Descent version 3 like a lot of people thought. It's kind of a different game in that Terranoth universe, but this is the one that's very, very heavily driven by the app, which a lot of Fantasy Flight games, these big games like Journeys to Middle-earth, are very app-driven. Although this one seems to be very, very app-driven, but it's got this really cool like 3D terrain. It's a big old game. We actually saw it at a game store. They had it, and I was like, that does look really cool. The price point's really high, so some people are kind of put off by the price point, and app development costs a lot, so it's been talked about a lot, which is why it keeps hitting the hotness. And I will say, like, when it's out, it does look really cool.
Yeah, the production seemed nice. We just got lucky to happen to walk.
Yeah, we were like, oh, that's what that is.
Sort of set up on a display, and we're like, that's pretty neat box of stuff.
And I personally, I think both of us really like app integrated games when it's done really well. It's a way to use technology with a tabletop game, and I have no like aversion to that at all. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I love the idea that's like you can turn a corner and you don't know what is going to be around that corner, and then if you replay the scenario,
it could be different.
It might not be the same. Yeah, that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
You know.
So that is a number 3, Descent Legends of the Dark. Let's get to number 2.
So number 2 is a bit of a mystery to us. It's called Regicide.
It's
a mystery. It's got a really cool cover. It's a mystery to us because it's actually from 2020, at least as its release. Maybe it's getting into people's hands now, but it's popped up on the hotness. This is a game where you're using a standard deck of cards with hearts and spades and stuff that have characters and stuff on it, and you're using these cards to attack and defeat kind of the royals, the Jack through Kings.
I know, it's such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's all set in this kind of like fantasy world, but it's using literally a standard 52 deck of cards with kind of art and stuff on it. And I think that's just cool to see, like, it's just a bold move, and you don't ever see standard cards used anymore, hardly.
Hardly, and that's one thing, again, it's like, you go down, people always say, like, what board game would you bring on a desert island? And the correct answer is a deck of cards. Because there are thousands and thousands, and it's like, in every year, there's always one or two, it's like, hey, this is literally a 52 deck of cards. And we're just going, and I love, it's just amazing what you can do with a deck of cards.
Yeah, because most games, what you do is you would probably like have the cards, but you wouldn't say that it's a deck of cards. But they certainly learned it and play tested it versus that. So I like that they keep that here.
Yeah, they're like,
and that you have like your 2s through 10s and stuff, and then like you're trying to take down the kings, the 4 kings. It's just cool. I just think it's really neat at a personal level.
And I really want to track this down. It seems
fully
really
cooperative.
Cool.
It's just cool to see it pop up on the hotness because it's got great art and it definitely deserves its place there. But I'm like, that's a different kind of feel.
I was like, we were like, what is this Regicide? And we were looking, we're like, this seems really, really cool.
This is nothing against these other games, but you'd expect like an Agemonia to show up on the hotness. So
or what
like this
number
shows
1
up,
is,
It's like, okay, number 1 makes sense. But I'm like, good for you, Regicide, good for you.
Deck of cards coming through. I love
doing it, you know? And it seems like it's cool. So I'm super intrigued.
Yeah. All right, let's get to number 1. Number 1 makes sense. It's Ankh. Ankh, Gods of Egypt. Again, it's been on the hotness list. It's still staying near at the top, or at the very top in this case, because it's hitting people's hands. And I tell you, no matter where I look, if I'm on Twitter, if I'm on Facebook, if I'm on Reddit, everyone's posting pictures of aunts, asking Ankh, not of their aunts. Their aunts playing Ankh.
It's crazy.
And asking questions about it and being like, what did everyone think about their first play? This is what I thought of my first play. The forums are going crazy.
Of course, people are painting and stuff.
Yeah, it's all over the place because it's a big game. People have been waiting for it. It's the end of the trilogy that Eric Lang did. It's really cool. People seem to be enjoying it. And so it's like, it's just people are talking about it everywhere.
Yeah, it's super, seems cool. Like it's a big, epic production, much like Rising Sun and Blood Rage were. And so it's been the anticipation's been growing as it's been getting nearer and nearer to getting delivered to people. So it's cool to finally see that pay off and a bunch of people out there playing it and getting excited by it. We haven't played it or have it ourselves, but I think a buddy of ours does. We'll play it eventually.
Yeah, we'll play it eventually.
It's just kind of was meant to be that it'll be number 1 because it's been building that way for a little while now. And that is Ankh, Gods of Egypt. And that's the hotness, everybody.
The hotness. So at the very end of the hotness, what we got a list right here, is we always talk about the 10 most played games in the month. So this is people who have logged their plays on BGG. And we always talk about them, and we were so close to getting to talk about something new, because a lot of times it's kind of the same games. But Cascadia just missed the list, because people are playing Cascadia.
So close. We wanted to talk about you.
But number 10 is Splendor.
You know,
number 10 is,
you can play it in an app. You can play it on Board Game Arena. How many plays are there with it?
4,799. And then Azul, which had 4,963. Lost Ruins of Arnak is 5,105.
Always impressive.
Always impressive. Now, again, that one's on BGA, and I know it gets played. I would love stats from BGA that show, like, these are the top games that got played on BGA. I bet you Lost Ruins of Arnak is near the top of that list, or not at the top.
Yeah.
We have Seven Wonders Duel with 5251, which is always on here. Patchwork is on here with 5322. That one's not usually on here.
I think that maybe hit Board Game Arena. I'm not sure. This is basically a Board Game Arena list.
Magic the Gathering, which is not on Board Game Arena, has 5992. Terraforming Mars, 6735, which is always surprising considering it's not like the shortest game.
An impressive one.
And then Wingspan with 7826. Marvel Champions with 8889. And then, of course, the top by like 5,000 is The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9 with 12,886. So a lot of those are on there fairly often. We almost got Cascadia.
We were so close. We tried. We played it a couple times. We tried to add to the number, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, so that's the most played games this month. Let's kick it back up to the shelf, and let's talk about some Murph picks.
So my Murph pick is an awesome picture from the upcoming Lost Ruins of Arnak expansion, the Expedition Leaders. I'm so excited for this expansion because I quite like Lost Ruins of Arnak, and now we're getting some teases of the art that is coming with that expansion. Lost Ruins of Arnak has a great look to it, and this picture in particular got me super hyped because it's just a boss old lady who's just like, I'm here to explore the jungle. I'm not afraid of no ghost or snake or whatever. I'm just here to explore, and I just love the attitude that they captured with that. Like, she is fully in command of this expedition. She's ready to rock and roll, and it's just a beautiful, colorful world, and I'm excited to see this expansion just expand, literally, the depth and richness of this world of the Lost Ruins of Arnak. So I just think this lady right here, I'll follow you to the ends of the earth, Grandma. I'm not squared.
So my Murph pick is actually also based around images. I usually like to talk about like the top images of the month, and the top ones are all about the game Weather Machine, which is the new Vita Lacerda game with Ian O'Toole art. That's basically all I need to say. Vita Lacerda, Ian O'Toole, people love that combination. Ian O'Toole does great art, and Vita Lacerda makes great games. You know, peanut butter and chocolate, you know what I'm talking about? But the one I also want to talk about is this one right here by the user Krampus. They took their cartographer's board and really drew it out and made a really beautiful picture based off of where they put all their stuff from cartographers. And I was like, this is such a cool idea. I love the idea of board games and art coming together in this way. And I was like, I really, really want to do this with my next cartographer's board. I especially want to do this because it's not a huge art project. In the past, I've done some board game art projects, but they've been a little bit too big. I one time made a Barren Park board in the game Planet Zoo, and I'm really proud of that, but it took like 60 to 70 hours. And so I don't want to do something that big again. It took over my life for like a month and a half. So at the very end of the video, the last thing we do is to talk about our personal favorite games of last month. What's the best thing you played last month, or your favorite thing you played?
One thing I really enjoyed, there's a lot to love last month, but one thing I really enjoyed was Super Mega Lucky Box.
Really? Number one, huh?
It's just fun. It's just bingo. Basically, you're flipping over cards by Phil Walker Harding. Praise be to Phil Walker Harding always. And it's just kind of a silly game. Minimal strategy, so it's like something that everyone can play, and I love the font and the styling of it. It's just very old school, schoolhouse rock style, and just it's fun to say Super Mega Lucky Box. Super Mega Lucky Box. That's my favorite. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
My favorite game was Origin's First Builders, which is a brand new big board and dice game. And this is a game that I really want to try again because we actually got to play it a while ago. We played it digitally, and playing big games digitally, I tend to not like them because I just have a hard time keeping track of everything. I just don't really like it. And so I was like, I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth, but I really wanted to play it in physical. We finally got to do it, and I loved it. This is a game where you are kind of an ancient civilization, but you're getting help from all these aliens to build like the pyramids. It's that kind of idea.
Obelisks and things to worship.
And it's just a really cool theme, but ultimately what it comes down to is it's just a tight, heavy Euro game is really what it is, with that kind of cool theme on top. And it's really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm very happy that I enjoyed it more than I did the first time.
It was worth that second play for sure, and to get it in front of you physically to really see it through, you know? So that's our picks. Let us know in the comments a game that you played last month, new or old, that you really enjoyed. hit us with your favorite game in the comments below. Let us know what you're excited for coming up. As you know, con season is upon us. It's sort of late
right
this
now.
year,
Yeah.
but it's happening. So let us know what games you're excited for that are coming up and things that have been maybe on the hotness or that you wish were on the hotness. Let us all know in the comments below.
Until next time, I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
We're the Brothers Murph.
We'll see you in the next hot month.
Hot month.